it's the first result in the database if you get to the database. Sometimes it's whatever is on that first page of Google. So they rely on the Google algorithms to make the decisions for them. And that is something with which we really need to contend. I like, as Ellen, I want to look at this positively, and I want to see the positives, because though that's a big part of our reality, but if it doesn't make sense, a lot of times we can't accept all of it, because there is a thing to getting better information. I haven't even gotten to the best. I think that undergrads, I'm like, okay, can you get to the better information? And then when you get to working with graduate students, hopefully you will get to the best information, you know. But I've even talked to colleagues. I remember I was on, I worked at UCLA for many years, and I was on the reference desk with a graduate student in Library and Information Studies, and they even said, oh, you know, I really don't have time to do a really comprehensive search for this paper I have to write. So, you know, I'm just really doing it quickly. And I was like, okay, if I'm talking to a student who's going to be a future librarian and who understands the importance of information and finding quality materials, then, you know, what is the hope? But I do stand out hope. It's just kind of, I think, a bit of a paradigm shift going on, because we have information glut now. So I think it's as important for us to help students to understand how to ferret through the sea of information, whereas before, when I look at the printing press, you know, we had this much information, and now they have to contend with so much. So I thought it was interesting seeing that from their perspective. Now we are going to move to a discussion of information literacy. And who had that? Was that Christine, who said she wanted to see what this means? Yeah, but a little bit more about what it means. I would like you to just take a moment and write down what you think the term information literacy means. It doesn't have to be whole sentences. It can be words, phrases. It's just what comes to mind when you think of that phrase. And we will share. 30 more seconds. Okay. What did this phrase evoke for you?
Being able to access the various methods and information and critically evaluate the information for validity, reliability, and relevance.
Okay, say that again, cricket. Ability to access.
Well, ability to access information or data by various modalities, and critically evaluating it for validity, reliability, and relevance.
I like what Cricket said because I really liked it. The thing I added to it is that they need to be able to understand the biases of the material they're reading. Because we're a little more subjective.
I think I had something that came up, because I've thought about this before, and one of the new things that came up for me was how our students will need to communicate with others about the information that they found. For example, you hear in the news about this really cool thing, and your audience might have heard that news. You have good information that may or may not gel with the information your audience has. So I think part of information literacy is also being able to communicate with people who don't have good information and show them the relevant value of that information.
Communicate and show relevant value of it.
Because that's not just for us as teachers. I think our students will need to do that in their lives after graduation. And I had another one too.
Go for it.
I also kind of thought about how we have so much information that it really has a strong influence on our beliefs and values about how the world works. And so we need to understand how the information we have influences that. Because so many times our own beliefs and values are barriers to going beyond ourselves and looking for information. But we establish those beliefs and values based on what we encounter. So if we're getting all our information from Yahoo News, that's influencing what we know. And kind of related to that, understanding what we're missing in our information. If our information sources are Yahoo News, what else is out there?
Thank you. Others? What came to mind for you? Don?
Well, I had some of the ideas that were up there. Some of them repeat those, but I also had creating new knowledge after doing some of this research, which basically is one's argument, and that would include using this information from various sources plus one's own thinking.
So creating new knowledge from sources, but incorporating one's own thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ability to sift through the glut of information and select what is relevant to your purpose.
always kind of struggled with in terms of information competence, once I became aware that there was such a thing, is that different types of information. So, there's certainly opinions, facts, and theories, but there are also primary, secondary sources, popular media sources, all those different types of information. Yeah, peer review. It's not.
Keyword.
This is a fantastic list. We can go home now.
You guys must have already read the standards.
Notice we didn't say anything. We have.